Philadelphia Eagles players just did something that helped them win their first ever Super Bowl. But will it help them this year? Also, I want to talk about longtime Sixers reporter Marcus Hayes getting shoved and looking like a punk, like a chump by Joel Embiid. And finally, I want to talk about Jason Kelce out here smashing phones and defending his brother as he should. So let's get right into it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm ready. Are you ready? Let's do it. Let's make ourselves look dumb on the internet. Shout out to everybody watching this, man. Shout out to everybody in Philadelphia. We've had a week. I'll say that much. We have had a week. I want to start off with the undesirable. I'm gonna be real with you. Marcus Hayes, a guy that a lot of people do not like at all, gets shoved by Joel Embiid. I mean, to be honest with you, I've seen a lot of both sides. I've seen people saying that Joel Embiid has to have thicker skin, can't let people get under his skin like that. But at the same time, when you read what he said, and I'll put it up on the screen, when you read what he said, I mean, I probably am going to do worse than shove you. I'm going to be 100% honest. When you read this, it makes zero sense of the context that was brought in, bringing up his brother that unfortunately passed away, bringing up his child. It just doesn't have anything to do with basketball. And I somewhat understand what he's trying to say, kind of trying to utilize what Joel Embiid said to. I don't get it, actually. I was trying to play devil's advocate. I can't. Marcus Hayes is an absolute idiot. He said a lot of dumb things. This is the same person that called out A.J. Brown and then got called out by A.J. Brown and had nothing to say. So Marcus Hayes, I have no idea. I want to say this first. I think that the Philadelphia Inquirer, I have a couple friends over there. They hire some amazing people. There are some great people on their staff, and I don't want him to overshadow that. Shout out to my guy, Devin Jackson, one of my really good friends that works over there for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Does amazing work, incredible work. Marcus Hayes is not Devin Jackson. So at the end of the day, I don't understand what's going on there in the Inquirer, why they still have him there. I understand he's been covering the Sixers for a long time, but when you do something like that, just doesn't make much sense. And I want to bring up, talking about Trayvon Diggs, I believe it was, that was on the Micah Parsons podcast, and they were talking about even their media and how their media is attacking the Cowboys players, calling it the worst, this, blah, blah, blah. But the reason I bring that up is because Philadelphia has that issue too. For some reason, Philadelphia reporters love to hate our team. No one, and I say this all the time on Twitter, and it's kind of a joke, but it's kind of the truth. No one hates the Philadelphia Eagles more than Philadelphia media for some reason. And this is why you're starting to see a disconnect from players and reporters. You guys know, if you've been watching this channel for a long time, we've had a good amount of players on here. I've had a good amount of reporters on here. The one thing I always try not to do is create that disconnect. I don't give softball questions, but I don't disrespect someone trying to get a storyline, trying to get a title, trying to get a headline, right? And unfortunately, I see that a lot in Philadelphia. So Marcus Hayes, you're the clown of the decade, to be honest with you. I feel like we've been talking about him for the past year or so, whether it's the Eagles or whether it's the Sixers. Don't know what's going to happen with that, but I personally don't blame Joel Embiid, and maybe that's a hot take. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm immature, but you say something about my brother, let alone one that passed away. You talk about my son. There's just no need, and I'm probably going to do way more than just push you. I will say, at first, Keith Pompey, I believe his name is, reported that it was a punch. It wasn't a punch, it was a shove. So if you guys are a little bit behind on that, Shams did come out and say that it was just a shove. Even still, just a shove, it is what it is. He can get sued. I mean, Marcus Hayes is a weird dude. He's a slimy dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out there and sues him. But we'll move on to the next person that might get sued, and that's Jason Kelce. Jason Kelce defended Travis Kelce. And I will never, ever hate on somebody for defending their family. I will never blame somebody for defending their family. Again, you can say it from both sides. Should he have maybe had a little bit thicker skin? Maybe he shouldn't have, slammed the guy's phone. But you called my brother out of his name and you're yelling at the guy. I mean, first of all, you're in Penn State. You're supposed to be an Eagles fan. You're supposed to have respect for the GOAT. I mean, it's not like it's Riley Cooper out there. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's some trash player for the Eagles. You're talking to Jason Kelce. Have some respect. So I think that he could have probably did way worse than just smash that guy's phone. And I don't I will say this, I don't like how TMZ is trying to turn around the storyline and make it seem like Jason Kelce just had a mental breakdown and went crazy. No, that kid is an idiot. That kid needs to be called out, and he might sue Jason Kelce because that's what America does. I'm not gonna sit here and get all preachy, but that's what America does now. You hurt somebody's feelings, they probably gonna sue you. So he's probably gonna get sued, but I don't blame Jason Kelce. And honestly, I think Jason Kelce got more than enough money to take care of that lawsuit. But I will say this, if you're a Penn State fan, if you're whatever fan, don't do stupid stuff like that. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, and we saw that happen. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles players going into Nick Sirianni's office and telling him what needs to be heard, what needs to be said. The Eagles fans have been saying this for so long. I'm so glad that the Eagles players have finally went up to Nick Sirianni and made a change. So Lane Johnson came out and said that they spoke to Nick Sirianni, they spoke to the front office, spoke to the coaching staff, and told them they want to be more of a running team. We've seen that over the past couple of weeks. We've seen them playing a lot better, and we've seen them relying on guys like Saquon Barkley and the legs of Jalen Hurts and the straight brute strength of this offensive line. So we finally are starting to maybe see the cohesiveness that we were looking for. The Philadelphia Eagles have looked very good over the last 2 weeks, and I think that the Jaguars, while they are, I believe, 2-5 or 2-6, something like that, not the greatest team in the world. Obviously, everybody has their opinion on Trevor Lawrence. He's either the greatest quarterback you've ever seen or the worst. And then Doug Peterson, feel how you will about him. At the end of the day, this is a great opportunity for the Philadelphia Eagles to go out there and beat another team down that they should beat. One thing I've been looking for all year, and I said this in the beginning of the year, is to go out and dominate. It took us a little bit of time, but it looks like we're starting to finally go out there and dominate. I love that Lane Johnson went up to his team. And we look at this, we look at the injury report. We're getting Mekhi Becton back. Landon Dickerson's ready to go. This offensive line is about as healthy as it's going to get until Jordan Mailata is finally back out there. So all caution to the wind. Go out there and ball the heck out, man. This is what we needed. This is what the Eagles needed. The Eagles needed that leadership committee, what they call, right? The leadership committee to go up there and be leaders. I do not blame, and I've seen this online. I've seen a lot of people talking about Nick Sirianni, and it took this to happen. This happened with Doug Peterson, and we went on to win a Super Bowl. The organization wants to do one thing. The players understand who they are. So I'm not blaming this on Nick Sirianni. Actually, the opposite. I give kudos to Nick Sirianni in this front office and this staff to be so open-minded and open-eared to understand, okay, these guys know what they want. These guys know what they can do. Let me listen to them. Let me take what they say and put it into action. And they've done that beautifully. I've always said, and I will always say, that the Eagles culture is to be a player-friendly town, player-friendly organization. And this goes with that. If you are willing to listen to your players are going to be more willing to speak. Your players are going to be more willing to put their body on the line because this is what you want. This is what you want. If you go to your job, right? You go to your job and you say, hey, listen, I like this job. This is a good job, but I feel like we can be better if you let me do this. If they let you do that, you're going to feel a little bit more of a sense of ownership, right? This is on me now. Yeah, you did what you had to do as the coach, as the boss, whatever you want to say. Now it's on me to perform and give you what I said I would give you. So now for me, and you guys tell me what you're thinking in the comments, but for me, it's all on the players now. It's all on the players. We can't talk about Nick Sirianni. We can't talk about Kellen Moore. We can't talk about Howie Roseman. It's all on the players. They're giving you what you want. They're giving you what you want. You went to the coaches, you spoke to them, you said, this is what we need, this is what we want. They're giving it to you. Now it's on you. It's all about execution. All about making things work. So I am so excited, and I do feel, and maybe I'm going a little bit overboard here, I do feel that 2017 vibe. I do. I truly feel like this could be the moment that turns everything around. I think that you look back at what Lane Johnson said at the end of this year in February, right? In February, when we're in the Super Bowl, because that's what's going to happen. When we get to the Super Bowl, we're going to look back at what Lane Johnson said, kind of like we looked at the flowers, right? Kind of like we looked at, whatever saying you want to bring up that Nick Sirianni said or Jalen Hurts said, 1% bet, whatever you want to bring up. You're going to look back at Lane Johnson saying we went to the coach and the coach listened to us. And you're going to look at that and say, that was huge. That was the moment everything turned around. That's how I'm feeling. Darren Sproles said that after the Super Bowl, we won the Super Bowl, Carson Wentz didn't want to run our offense no more. This is like the total opposite. You got a guy in Jalen Hurts that understands he can run this offense. He knows what he can do. Jalen Hurts ain't going nowhere. So it's time to go all in on what you got. Last thing I want to say is Penn State absolutely sucks. So tired of this. So tired of Penn State. I'm not going to make a whole video about that, but I hate James Franklin. Fire James Franklin. But other than that, if you guys, enjoy this type of content, and if you think the Eagles are Super Bowl champs, because I do, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is a quick one. I'll be back after the game and talk about the game and all that. But other than that, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's going to be. It's Fly Eagles Fly. And I got to find the outro. Found it. Peace!
Everywhere. This is for
Yeah.
you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird gang nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here cool on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do 'em in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.